Welcome to Work the Left Side. Hyped to announce tonight's guest. It's it's said, some people arrive in style, but Bolty stays in it. It is Mr. Adam Bolt. How are we doing, dude? You good?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm all good, mate. 5 by 5. I saw that quote earlier. Absolutely love it. I must have used it like 2 or 3 times today already, just when I'm on about this episode. It just sums you up perfectly, dude. It's just like...
It does, yeah.
Like, you know what? It's just everything I do, I want it to look good. And that's the Adam Bolt character, in a whole.
Yeah, it's literally as simple as that. I just get these random quotes and I stick to them and I just add my name in and I'm off. Like, I think I came up with that one, to be fair. I was like, yeah, it works.
Dude, works perfectly. Like I say, I saw it earlier and I must have used it like 3 times already today. So I actually love it. It's brilliant. Again, though, it's the simple things. Like I say, it just nails the character perfectly and it lets people know what to expect. When you've got a character, if you can sort of summarize it within like a few words or a couple of lines, and the fans kind of get a feel for it straight away. They're like, okay, this guy's going to be a cocky so-and-so. Right, okay, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nothing about it's untrue either. I mean, like you say, if you're going to get over a character within like, a line or two, it does sum up exactly what I'm about. So, I mean, I can't complain. It's a winner, to be fair, isn't it? So,
yeah, definitely, dude. No arguments here. So I'm going to rewind because people have watched other episodes. Obviously, they'll have seen the Aiden Sparks one last week. Your name got mentioned in that. I just want to quickly mention that as well, because obviously, anything that's done for charity, I love it when the wrestling community kind of comes together. I've seen it so many times for so many different reasons. And you guys put on a hell of a show at Pursuit, for the charity show.
yeah.
How was that? Because obviously, you kind of started at EBW as well, didn't you? Anyway, so you obviously would have known Aiden through EBW.
Yeah, so back from the EBW days, I think obviously EBW didn't make it through lockdown. So when we come out of lockdown, Pursuit started up in Sheffield, and a lot of people gravitated towards that because it's a local area, because EBW used to be in Rotherham. So, but people like me, Ivy, Jackie T, Brady Phillips, Brady Phillips was never at EBW anyway, but obviously being with Ivy, we kind of gravitated towards House of Pain because Styx, who runs a training school, was able to like get us training within the rules earlier than most people. So we obviously went there once a week when we were coming out towards lockdown. But yeah, I got invited to do the charity show at PPW. And it's nice because although I'd not seen a lot of people in a couple of years because of lockdown, it was just like a big reunion in a way, because there's so many people that I'd started my journey with that were like familiar faces, like Aiden Sparks. And it's like you've not been away from them. Like, they're all great people, so...
I guess that happens quite a lot in wrestling. You can be on different shows, scheduling conflicts, all this kind of sort of stuff. You can go months without seeing somebody, but as soon as you walk into a locker room and you see that familiar face, it's just kind of like, it's only yesterday that you saw them, kind of thing.
Yeah, it makes it so much better. Like, I mean, it's hard because you forget how many people you actually know, but there'll be people you forget as well, and then you'll just see somebody for the first time in months and you'll realise you haven't seen them for ages. It's so weird.
That's it. But obviously, Styx was in the main event on that one. So, yeah, obviously, I credit PPW with hosting it, but it did seem like a collab of House of Pain and Pursuit, kind of, there's talent from both sides there. So,
yeah, I'd not looked at it like that, but now I remember it because I remember watching Styx did do the main event with Aiden, and it was quite an emotional one as well because, like, obviously, I know where Aiden's come from, and I know, like, I used to, like, know quite a bit about him back when we used to train on the regular, so it was nice for him to like get that validation for himself as well, working with somebody like Styx, because I feel like Aiden, obviously he loves stuff like that, like we all do, but I feel like you can tell with Aiden the difference. You can tell when it means something to him, and watching him when he was working Styx, like you could just tell he was happy. So watching it, we was just like it was good to watch.
Dude, awesome. Obviously, yeah, House of Pain as well. I've been lucky enough to speak to loads of different people from loads of different, like Future Shock, Pursuit, Northern Graft, and House of Pain. Obviously, we've had Joey on, we've had ZZ on. yeah, man. And obviously, I've had Sticks on. You know, I've had the man on himself, kind of thing. So it sounds like an awesome place. I'm a Nottingham boy anyway, so you know, I'll always big up House of Pain as much as I can do. I still kind of class it as a home promotion.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. What's it like there? Obviously, it wasn't your first school, but you know, it's obviously the current one, and it's the one that's, I think, obviously had the most impact on your journey so far.
Yeah, it's so. I think the difference is back with EBW, it was a very closed net group. So the majority of the time, and it's weird because it was a few years ago, but it was such a different time before lockdown. Like post lockdown and pre lockdown wrestling is completely different in British wrestling. Like we had a lot of things that influenced it, like the speaking out movement and everything like that. So before, we was in like this closed knit where like people wouldn't go out, and I hate to say it, but it's true. Like if anybody did step out of that bubble and go and do other shows, you kind of felt like you was doing something wrong. Whereas with House of Pain, it's so like it's just like Sticks would always encourage everybody there to work as many places as he can, and also the fact that he teaches there, he's always encouraging people to go and learn from other people as well, which sounds weird because you'd think that'd be a given anyway, but a lot of places aren't like that, and Sticks really is. So it's like a family, but not a toxic family. It's like it's just so good. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody gets on. It's always fun. And like I say, like you said, in terms of the impact it's had on me, that's where the real Adam Ball actually started through lockdown. So that was literally like kind of like the starting point to where I am now. It's like obviously the journey before counts, but that gave me like the basics, and like I was very generic, and then I knew I needed something, so I was kind of like I eventually went to House Pain, and it's just never looked back.
Dude, I mean, and to be fair, you know, you've got like, you know, the amazing people around you, but I think the people around you, yeah, it's going to help that creativity. It's going to help you develop and, you know, do what you want to do. And obviously, you know, you're smashing it. The characters come on leaps and bounds, you know, over the last couple of years. It's just, yeah, you've kind of found yourself, which I'll get to later, because there's obviously a very key moment which helped you develop and just be like, okay, yeah, this is the character now. I can say, you know, I can be who I want to be, kind of thing, 100%. But as you know, mentioned before, I mentioned it off camera. The House of Pain family, you know, there seems to be, you know, Joey mentioned it. There's obviously Joey, you, ZZ, with Brady Phillips and Ivy as your mum and dad. You kind of nodded when I mentioned off camera. I was like, yeah, no, that's pretty much, dude. That's a family. You know, forget the other bloodline. That's a bloodline I would not want to mess with.
It is. It very much is. It's literally. It started, like I say, it started back in the day. We all used to, me, Jackie T was my tag team partner, and I used to train at EBW. Ivy met Brady Phillips around that time. He kind of took us under his wing. We all ended up training at House of Pain. That's where we met Joey Cement and ZZ. And then since then, it's just the way it is. Like, we're just like kids and they're like, because it doesn't just, it goes outside of wrestling as well. Like, there's so many times where they'll give us advice or like give us a nudge. You know, like when kids are being naughty almost. That's literally what it's like. But I'm probably one of the worst ones. So like, yeah, they kind of look out for us, but it's quite fun to watch from the outside as well, because it is like a family. That's exactly what it is.
Well, as I said before, man, Joey was bigging you up, man. You know, like you're the best big brother that you could ever hope for, kind of thing. You know, the sport of big brother. So I think it's easy with the sister that you just don't mess with.
Oh yeah, definitely. The thing is with Zizi, she's very like me in the fact that she's straight faced. So like people can look at me and think I'm like miserable, or like I just don't want to be there, and I'm not. But Zizi, like, she's one of them people, when you get to know her, like you have such a laugh with her. The amount of times we spend like just doing stuff outside of wrestling as well. Like for Halloween, we all went to a Scaregrounds, and Zizi made it for me. But yeah, in terms of Joey, I think it's hard because in wrestling, it can be a place that forces you to grow up quicker than you want to, especially if you get in at such a young age. And I always remember that regardless of, you know, how many times I've shared a room with him, he is 17, 18. So it's like, I always try and be there, because it's like, you know, we can be as mature as we want in a character sense or in a wrestling sense, but he's still 17. So it's like, I suppose I have just took on a big brother role with him, to be fair.
I say you don't want to wish it away, do you? You know, like don't wish away your child. The
Yeah.
youth kind of thing. Yeah, you're 17, enjoy it. Be mature when you have to be, but when you don't, go nut and be 17, have a laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I obviously got to see you. I go to certain promotions. I don't get around anywhere near as much as I would like to. I'm not Jeebus. But I've seen a lot of your matches on YouTube. That's where I tend to get my fix a lot. But I did obviously see you recently in York for True Grit. Hopefully, I'll see you back at True Grit numerous times in the future. But we obviously sponsor True Grit, so I'm going to mention it. How did you find it? Did you enjoy it? It was at the York show as well, which is it was my first time being at that venue, and I was like, well, this is weird. It's inside like a school hall, but it was very cool at the same time.
Yeah, so True Grit, I did it must have been last. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry, it wasn't your first time there. You have been there before, haven't you? But it was a while back.
Yeah, but it was like a TV taping sort of thing for YouTube. So we did that. It was in the PPW venue. So that was when I got like a feel for what True Grit was about. And I suppose it's not hard. Like when you come across these promotions on Twitter, there's certain promotions that stand out for their production, their professionalism, like how much people enjoy them. Like when you get around as many people and you see that many people and not one person has a bad place to say about one place, it's a place you want to be. And True Grit's one of them. Ivy, for example, holds no secret that her favorite place to work is True Grit every time. So yeah, when I got the message to be there, I was like, it was like I'd waited for it. And then obviously I got the triple threat match with Ellis Barker and Jay Vertigo, two people who train together at PPW, but also I'm not stupid. Like I've got all the character there, and I'm looking at two people who work very similar styles to me. So obviously I was excited from the beginning. So it was really fun. I was really happy to be there, and obviously I had fun there. Like I had so much fun in that 10-12 minute triple threat match. So fun.
You got over as well, from a fan's perspective. I can obviously say to you, people I've spoken to afterwards, at True Grit shows after that kind of thing. Your name gets mentioned whenever that match comes up. It's like, yeah, I'd have bolt. It's like you left such a good impression, and I know majority of the fans that I speak to, just craving for you to come back at some point. I mean, like they want to see you back in True Grit. So there you go. Yeah. That's my flowers for you today.
Thank you. I mean, hopefully it won't be long before I am back. But yeah, like that night, I can remember. One thing sticks out to me, and it's nothing to do with any of the wrestling or anything like that. It was just because obviously being like in the because I wouldn't say I'm a character. I am just me. Like that is the way I am. Obviously, I turn it up, turn it down, flip it depending on what my goal is or aim is or role is on the show. But in that match, I was just very vocal the whole time because I knew what sort of crowd I was working with. And then I just remember one thing where I was like, I probably shouldn't have said that because like obviously people were giving me a lot of heat, and then they started laughing. Because I grabbed Jay Vertigo around the back of the head and I called him greasebomb.com because I'm just quite witty with stuff like that. But because it made it funnier because in the moment he didn't give me anything back. It was like it left more room for people to laugh. So I was like, oh. But then like people like laughing at me, but not because they liked me. It was such a weird vibe. But I was really happy with it. So yeah, hopefully it's not long before I'm back.
Dude, yeah, fingers crossed. But again, yeah, like sort of said, for you, because you say those two guys know each other, for you to be on par with those two guys in the fans' eyes, nobody was better than anybody else in that match. It was just an actual, everybody put the effort in and everybody came out. Obviously, somebody got the W, but there was no losers in that match. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree.
So, obviously, yeah, we mentioned House of Pain, True Grit. Obviously, wrestling in Newcastle is a place that you've worked quite consistently as well recently. That seems to be a promotion, dude, that is just hit the ground running. Everybody I speak to, when that promotion comes up, they just like love working for wrestling in Newcastle.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be a part of the first show. And I didn't know what to expect going. You never know what to expect with a promotion's first show. You never know if it's going to be a one and done thing. You don't know if it's going to like take off, or even the promoter's goal. You don't know if the promoter is looking to make that promotion mean something, or if it's just like a hobby, like, or they're just like a fan. So when we went there, it was very apparent from the beginning, like how much of a big deal it probably will be, and I think people are starting to see that now, because the first show sold out, and then the second show sold out, and I was like, oh, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then now I think they're looking at like the fifth. And when I say sold out, I know it's easy to assume that it's just like, you know, some of these promotions have shows in like Working Men's Club and things like that, but that venue holds a lot of seats and it is packed every time, and it's so loud as well. And I get to be my most authentic me. You know, I am like I literally, a lot of it, it just so happens I've been there 3 times and I've opened the show 3 times, which is great because I've just got this vibe where I just hate Geordies. I mean, I don't. What they don't know is half my family are Geordie, but it's just funny because, like, when being the first one out of the curtain, like, all I literally drop them a line about how, you know, unemployment rates, and all I have to do, and then they hate me. But the last show I did was the most fun. Not the last one, the one before, when I had a 4-way with Zero Nox, Arkid, and BT Gun. It's on YouTube, Gauntlet for the Gold. That first half an hour of that show is literally just me. So fun. So fun.
Well, at least they let you do. That's the thing, though, man. They obviously got the confidence in you to just be like, yeah, man, go out, do what you do. And we know you're going to get a reaction. We know you can work that crowd. That just speaks, you know, that's the confidence that puts in you, or that they have in you. And, man, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, and like I say as well, apart from that, as much as I have a lot of beef with the GM because he cheats me out of absolutely everything there, it is a great place to be, and it's one of my favorite places to be as well. Like, when that show's coming up, it's like it sets me into a new gear. Like, I love it. Like, if there's one thing better than performing on a show where the pressure's high because of where it is, it's when you love being there as well. And Wrestling Newcastle's exactly that, and they are definitely on the up. Like, I'm like excited to see where it's going to be in like a year or 2, because if they're selling out now, then who knows.
That's it, man. And that's the thing. I mean, Newcastle, it's not even like, you know, they're not selling out because people there don't have much choice, you know, for wrestling shows. You know, I think there's like freaking 7 or 8 different promotions in Newcastle. So yeah, for it to be selling out when there's such a competitive market, you know, they are obviously doing something. You know, they're ticking all the boxes. And that's, you know, that's you guys as well. It's not just them. Obviously, they're pulling in the right talent to get people interested.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. It's a healthy mix as well, because there's new faces and then faces people are accustomed to seeing. Like, for example, on the next show on May the 4th, I'm wrestling BT Gun, somebody who I wanted to work for a long time. So that, mixed with the fact that I love being there, mixed with how talented BT Gun is in the experience, mixed with the character stuff, you can only imagine how excited I am for it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'll insert like a very giddy gif in picture at some point. There'll just be something really excited. Might do the Jonah Hill flapping, and that'll be that's your level of first excitement. But yeah, BT Gun, you know, absolute dude. I've been around for many times. I mean, I remember the New Age Click back in the day, you know, years ago in ICW. BT Gun was one of those guys. Yeah, he's just so good, but never kind of. I think he's appreciated, but never acknowledged at the right level. You know, he should be acknowledged a lot higher than he is, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I knew who he was, and obviously I knew of BT Gun for a long time before I'd met him, but I really understood it when I got to share the ring with him in the 4-way we had. And then I was fortunate enough to have a minute or 2 in it with him in the ring in the Great North Rumble at the last show as well. And we really get on, and he's so good to me as well. Like, he is so good to me, and yeah, it speaks volumes when you get in the ring with him, because it's just little things that people do, like the way they move, the timing. It's the little things like that which a lot of fans don't see, and they're not going to, which is fine. But that's what makes me really appreciate somebody. It's like the chemistry is like there. So now that we're going to have a lot more time one-on-one, I'm excited for it. So,
dude, well, unfortunately, I doubt I'll be able to get to Newcastle, but Win are awesome for putting stuff onto their YouTube channel, so I will wait with bated breath till they can upload it, and then I can watch it. And yeah, you know, I'll share the love, I'll spread it out as soon as it's on there, mate. There's a few promotions that as soon as they put anything on YouTube, bosh, I'll put it on Twitter, and I'm like, watch it now. that'll be one of them for sure. So, but yeah, they obviously, mentioned Win. Again, your radius of work is huge. I mean, obviously, we talked about Newcastle, House of Pain, True Grit in Yorkshire. There's been TNT.
Yes, yeah.
You've gone down the other side as well. You're literally covering the whole country. So TNT's a promotion for a lot of people. That are on the list of promotions that they want to work if they haven't worked it yet. You've worked TNT. How did you find that going the other side?
Yeah, so I can't lie. It came before all these things like Wrestling Newcastle, and it was the very, very start of 2023. So me being there originally, I answered an open challenge from Shane Monet and Visage, but I wasn't the original idea to do it. I found out about 7 days before. So obviously you can imagine me, like at the level I was and knowing TNT as a goal, I was like bricking it because I was like, because I'm one of them people as well where it doesn't matter to me whether there's like 50 people in a crowd or like a couple hundred. Like I need to leave that room feeling like I've either one, done the best I can, or two, everybody else thinks like I am one of the best. Like I won't have anything less. Like it's like I want to be the best in the room every time. So going to TNT, obviously, it just ups it even more because look at the talent they've got. It's like the best in the country every time almost. So I was like, ugh. And the show, the match, everything went very well. Like one thing I have noticed about myself, which I don't want to jinx it, but I have said it quite a few times, is I tend to deliver more under pressure. It's like it knocks me up a gear every time. So when I was under that pressure and I felt the nerves and things like that, as well because that show as well in particular, it was one of the first shows I'd gone to when I didn't have like Ivy there, Jack there, Brady there. Like it was, I literally went on my own and went in, and there was nobody that I saw on the regular there. There were people I know, Alexis Falcon was there, Visage was there, but nobody that I saw all the time. So it was quite nerve wracking, but yeah, really happy with it. Like it went so well, and I'm hoping it's not long before I'm back at TNT. But yeah,
dude, that's the thing. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, not to jinx yourself, but yeah, it does seem to be like when the pressure's on, when you're forced to deliver, yeah, you step up, you level up, kind of thing. Normally you might be operating at, you're never going to be operating at 10. I think you'll always be turned up to 11. But under certain situations, there's that hidden 12th level, and it's like, yeah, there we go. Just turn up. But obviously, yeah, TNT. Also, obviously, noticed Wrestle Carnival. Sadly, I think unless they've changed their mind, I think they've had their last show. They're done and dusted. But for a couple of years, Wrestle Carnival were another promotion that were high on the radar. They were putting on amazing shows, getting amazing talent in. Yeah, you had a match against Jack Bandicoot at Carnival.
Yes. Yeah, so Gary Ward, who runs Wrestle Carnival, and I've said this to him plenty of times, forever be grateful to him, because when Wrestle Carnival was running on the regular, it was one of them places that was a lot of people wanted to get to, and Gary Ward was one of the first people that really took a chance with me. He took a chance with me and Riley Nova and put us into a match with Will Cruz and Blake. And that match changed. I feel like me and Riley both left that match and something clicked. Like it was like taking these two kids that were very used to, the smaller shows and like our training school at House of Pain, and seeing whether we could prove ourselves in like a bigger spotlight, and we did. Like I say, it wasn't the first time. It wasn't the last time either me or Riley Nova went back to Wrestle Carnival. I had another tag team match with Jackie T against Billy Hayes and Jay Joshua. I did break my wrist in that match, but I pulled through. Like it was one of the best tag matches I've had. And then yeah, Jack Bandicoot as well. So like it's a shame Wrestle Carnival's gone, but whether it is or not in the future, like I'll always be grateful to Gary Ward for like being the first one to take a chance for me, to be fair.
That's it. I mean, even if Carnival's gone, I think from what I'm hearing, Gary's info still got his fingers in numerous pies. Yeah. As long as he's still got your number, I think the opportunities will keep popping up, and he'll be in contact for whatever he's doing next, kind of thing. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Like I say, very grateful to him. I know they've been dropping some hints recently. on Twitter. I don't know what that's about because it's been a lot of Wrestle Carnival pictures, so it might not be done yet. I don't know, but who knows? It's Gary Ward. Who knows?
Keeps you on your toes, man. Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Keeps it exciting. So yeah, then obviously we've got that, and promotion I wasn't overly familiar with because I think it's sort of more down south. But obviously WAW, ironically they came up. I had Tim Strange on in the last episode, and he was talking about WAW, and I was a bit like, okay, cool. I've heard of him, but I wasn't overly familiar with him, so I was like, I'll go check them out and stuff. And I remembered why I'd heard of them, and it's because of you.
Oh, right, okay.
I was like, oh yes, of course. And it kind of dropped the pieces. That was the obviously, that's when you got the Pride title.
Yes. So WAW, I was very nervous going down there because I know, well, everybody knows who they are. It's the Knight family. Like, and even if you don't know them, you know them, if you know what I mean. So I obviously never been there before, felt the pressure when we did the first Pride show for them, and it was not long after I'd publicly come out. So it was the first time, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but I went. I had to open the show with a triple threat, and then in that next year, I'd done all this stuff to the point where they were bringing in a Pride Championship for their second Pride show, and I wrestled Mitchell Starr, which I have to say is probably the best one-on-one match I've had. It's my favorite because the wrestling was there, the emotion was there, like everything was like out of 10, and yeah, I can't thank them enough because it's easy to assume with them having the name that you would get there and the people might just be like, oh hi, but they're so nice, like so welcoming, like they've always been very good to me. I mean, the first time I went there, Zack Knight was there and he offered me and Jack, like, so we was driving home, he was like, you can stay at ours if you want, and I was like really? Like, but yeah, like they're such good people as well, so good.
That's awesome. But yeah, obviously, like you said, again, you're on about before, like working under nerves, being nervous, being able to turn it on kind of thing. Yeah, within the legacy of British wrestling, it doesn't get more, I can't imagine it getting much more nerve-wracking than, working in front of the Knights. Having the Knights actually have the confidence in you to be like, yeah, come work our show. We know you're that good. We want you to, we're willing to pay you to come work for us. Yeah,
that's another thing as well, because like they don't just, it's not like they're nowhere to be seen either. Like they all sit and watch the show, and they'll, like, when you go up to them and you ask them, they will tell you, and they've never been anything but nice to me. And yeah, like I said, when I won that Pride title, that it's massive for me because it's a Pride show. Then it's bigger for me because it's the first of its kind in terms of a UK Pride Championship, I believe. And then it's even bigger than that because it's WAW and it's the Knights that are deciding that and putting that trust in me. So it's like it's like the pressure never stopped. It's like I thought there was pressure for shows, and then it's like here I am dealing internally with being on a Pride show anyway. It's my second one, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. Then it's a title, then it's 20-minute match, then it's the emotion, and then it's the Knights. It's like I'm surprised I didn't pass out thinking about it now.
That level, that turning it up to 12. I think on this one, on this occasion, we've been turned up to like 20 or something, dude. Yeah. That is just.
I slept that night. Like I slept.
That's it. Good, dusted, bird. Yeah, sleeping tight. Yeah, it is the first, because I had to break another promoter's sort of heart recently because he was all hyped because I think they're planning on doing like a Pride belt. And it's the first, it'll be the first one in the UK. I really want to sort of, support it. I really want to get behind, and then obviously I was looking into, talking to you, and I was like, yeah, dude, somebody's beat you to it. There is already a Pride belt out there. And it's like, oh, it don't matter, two's better than one anyway. So, it's just, more strength to the division kind of thing.
Let's unify that one too.
What's that?
Let's unify him. I'll win that one too.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, well, I have actually mentioned the promotion earlier, that was on about it. So, if that's a reason for you to come back, then, we'll get you, I'll do everything I can do to get you there for that. That'll be awesome.
I'm down for that. I'll be there.
Nice. So, right, we've obviously mentioned the Pride stuff, winning the belt, winning the title. Obviously, dude, I can't even put into words how that must have felt, but obviously, it's on the back of I said to you before we started recording, I wasn't going to spend too much time on it because, anybody who knows you knows the story, what it meant to you. I mean, BBC have done a much better job than I would ever be able to do, getting that story out of you kind of thing. But yeah, it's on the BBC site. But yeah, you had that moment where you're just like, right, you had to basically, you just took a leap of faith and said, who you are.
Yeah, exactly. It was hard because anyone who knows me knows stuff like that in general doesn't bother me. Like, I'm not somebody that's over emotional about it. Like, it was just because I came out, like, I've told this story, I know, but like when I came out, shortly after I came out to my family, I started wrestling. I was hiding it again. So it was like this long process of doing it. But the reason I made the decision to tell people, it wasn't even like I was building it up and wanting to do it. It wasn't a thought. And then one day I woke up and I was just like, you know what? Like, it was because of wrestling. Like, I was doing this new Adam Bolt thing, and there is none of my sexuality in my character at all. But because I knew I wasn't, like, nobody's noticed the difference since I came out before when I was hiding it. But because I knew I was holding something back, it meant I was holding something back all the time. And if I'm holding something back all the time backstage, that means I'm holding something back in the ring. So I was like, I need to just feel like I'm not worrying about anything. I can just be me. And I'm glad I did, because now the Adam Bolt I am now compared to then, it just took off and it's got even better. And I think a lot of that is down to just feeling like I can be myself. Like, I don't worry about being a certain way because people might think something. Like, there's just no stress there.
You're not second guessing yourself. I mean, you can't be smooth. You can't go with the flow if you're second guessing what the next step is. That gives you that hesitation. It makes you sort of, even though, like, as a fan, we probably won't realize you're going to know in the ring, even just for a split second. If you second guess something, it's like, shit, I've lost my momentum, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like I could be myself at home, which, like, it's hard because I say be myself, but I'm not any different. It's just I feel like I am myself, and because everybody knows. But and then I'm going to wrestling, which is one of this thing that I love the most, and it's like I can't do it there. Like, it doesn't feel great. So it's like I want to be able to do it there. Like, I want to be myself the whole time. So, like, yeah, once I did it, it's like the relationships I've got as well, because people get on with me more because I'm not holding anything back. Like, I'm not sat in the corner sometimes being quiet. Like, I'm like a male Ivy. I'm just like, it's literally what I'm like. So,
dude, you're genuine. That's the key word. It's just being genuine.
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's just done me the world of good in every sense. So yeah, can't regret it at all.
Right, amazing. Yeah, nothing to regret. Like so it's just, you can say you can still be the same person, you can still be the same character. It's not changed, the character in any way, shape, or form. But you're obviously just more comfortable. You're going, it's flowing easier, and you can be more creative now because you're not second guessing anything or you're not holding anything back. So yeah, the Adam Bolt character will have evolved tenfold on the back of that.
Yeah,
just because of that freedom.
Yeah, like I say, the character hasn't changed. It's weird. Like, it's not like, I was wanting to. It's not like I was like, oh, this Adam Bolt looks so much better with some eyeshadow on. Like, I've not changed anything. It's just. I just feel like I can put my real self into it because I'm being my real self. It's so weird, but so simple as well.
That's it. Oh yeah, I mean, not when I say evolve, I don't mean change in any way, shape, or form. I just mean evolve within, like, your performance and your confidence. It's still the same character. It's just you just got better, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that as well.
Dude, it's we're talking, obviously we kind of mentioned Wrestle Carnival, and obviously WAW kind of taking that chance. I always kind of like to gauge. I know Joey's still got the £10, framed from his first outside booking, as we'll call it, kind of thing, because I know obviously when you're training and you're working shows for House of Pain, it's kind of like, okay, cool, I'm on a show, I'm on a card, but this is where I'll train. When somebody contacts you outside of that safety net and sort of says, look, we want you on the show, you're that good. As I mentioned it before, I want to pay you money. I've got a limited amount of slots on the card, but I want you to take one of them. What was that like? That first outside booking.
So my first outside one was actually way back in EBW when Breed Pro Wrestling was running in Sheffield. And I worked 2 shows for them, and then the third one they had me against Simon Miller. So obviously at the time I wasn't looking at Simon Miller as a wrestler. I was looking at Simon Miller as this bloke that I'd watched on YouTube and listened to for years, and I'm just a trainee wrestler. And I was like, and that went really well. And then at House of Pain, by the time I got to House of Pain, lockdown ended, and I started picking up in a lot of places. I really do think Wrestle Carnival was the first one that gave me that chance, because then after that, it's like these other, like I've done bits, for Joe Connors down at Elevation, another place I love being, but there's it just all kind of started rolling, and it never stopped. It was like, one place had booked me and it'd be on socials, and then people would think, oh, he's at Wrestle Carnival, let's get him here, and it just kind of like went from there. And it's been mad, to be fair. It wasn't until you started mentioning all these places that I actually sit and think, you know what, I've actually got around a bit, haven't I? But yeah,
I think there's like 5 or 6 I've not even sort of mentioned as well. There's like I've forgotten, like I know there's one called Breeding Ground or something like that. Not familiar with, but I saw them on Cage Match, and I was like, okay, you've been there a few times. I can't remember who it was, for what promotion it was for. Obviously, you versus Scotty Walk jumped out at me. I was like, right, I need to go check that match out. Right?
Yeah, that was wrestling in Newcastle. That will probably be up on YouTube soon, because it was the last show. So another opener where I'm just being me. What more could you want? Yeah, but Scotty Walk was one of them people I'd wanted to work for so long, so I'm glad I got to.
But I think it's right. Okay, I'm going to pick your brain on obviously match card layout psychology kind of thing, because I know obviously back in the day, being the opener, that was a bad thing. It was like the curtain jerker, because the show's progressively got better kind of thing. Back in the day, whereas I think now, the being the first match on is the second best match after the main event, because you've got that responsibility of getting the crowd hyped. You've got to kind of, you're spoon feeding the audience, in case they've never been to a wrestling show before. You guys have got to be so on the ball that the fans know when to cheer, when to boo. You're basically giving them instructions for the rest of the show.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I would agree. Like it has switched a lot. If I've got a choice, I will be on first or I will be on last. Last, obviously, everyone knows why you want to be on last. Who doesn't want to be the main event? But first, it's great because whether the promotion's new or not, if your promotion is not new, is new, sorry, like you say, you set the tone, you teach them basically what wrestling is. Like, you're kind of like introducing them to what they're going to see throughout the rest of the show. But when it's not new, it's even better because you know what that crowd want to see. And it's like I've used me at Wrestling Newcastle, for example. I know that there's a lot of great talented wrestlers at Wrestling Newcastle, there is, and there's a few characters as well. But in terms of a proper heel character that says things, that is pushing the line to them people to make them angry, that is me at that show. That's what I do. And to go out there, it's just easy, it's fun when you know your job is, like, who wouldn't love their job if it was easy every day? And Wrestling Newcastle is one of them places where it is just easy. And that probably speaks a lot to the Geordies, to be fair. They're simple people, clearly, but it's just so fun. It's so easy, like so easy. Like I just go out and I just insult them, tell them the kids are ugly, and I'm off. Like it's fine.
Dude, I've just got my soundbite. I've just got my little 30-second highlight reel for this episode. Just
it because they're horrible to me, and the GM is useless. He's the worst GM I've ever met in my life. So
there you go, Wrestling in Newcastle. It is what it is. You're being told,
Yeah.
Dude, love it. I'm not even sorry about it. We've kind of hit the ground running. I normally like to kind of, I know it's generic and everybody sort of does it kind of thing, but it's just in case nobody's heard it before. Obviously, at some point growing up, the penny drops, whether you're 8 years old or 16 years old or, Gunnar Rig, who I spoke to, like mid-30s, something happens that makes you take those steps through the training room doors kind of thing. That makes you want to be a wrestler. That makes you get involved in the business. Was it a childhood thing, or was it? I've had a few people that it happened to on the back of a drunken conversation. What's your story, dude?
So, in a weird way, it sounds cliche or cringe, but my earliest memory of my whole life is wrestling. The earliest memory I have in my life is I can remember just being on the sofa, and I can remember seeing somebody at the time, and I was trying to find out where this memory came from and like what it was I was watching. It wasn't until I watched a lot of wrestling back that I realized what I was watching at the time was WrestleMania 14, because it was Shawn Michaels' entrance with DX playing into the ring. Not DX playing into the ring, the band for DX playing into the ring. And putting that together, that obviously means it was 1998, right? And I was born in 95, so I must have been like, what, 2, 3? So I can honestly, to God, remember it. And obviously that's not a time, you know, when people are just banging on WWE Network and watching it back either. So obviously I could remember watching it. So, and then I was hooked since. Like my dad has even said to me, like, you know, you can remember watching it in like 2001 when you was like 6, and you know the Attitude Era was at its back end. But it was like you was glued like the whole time. Like when you was 3, 4, like 99, you was watching it. And this is a time when a 4-year-old really shouldn't have been watching wrestling. Let's not forget. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, probably shouldn't have been watching the things that people like Sable and that were doing. But you know, and then it got to like I was just watching it, and then there was one time where I knew in my mind that I always wanted to do it. Like it was like, you know, we were doing exercises at school and things, and teachers were like, "Oh, everybody write down what you want to do," and I kind of put something else because I didn't. Everyone laughed at wrestling, like, but and then if I did put wrestling, everyone knew exactly who it was. And then I was watching WrestleMania 25, and it's weird because that match again, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, still my favorite. It's a lot of people's favorite WrestleMania match ever, and that changed something in me where I was like, I don't think I'm a fan. Like, I think I want to do it, and I think that's why I've been so hooked for so long. And but obviously, being the smallest kid in the school, I mean, you ain't going to have any advantage in life being like 5'1" and ginger, are you? So when I weren't thinking it were a possibility to be a wrestler, but I was just like, do you know what? Like, I want to, and it took me years to get there, to get the confidence to walk into a training school. It took me a lot more years, but when I did, like, you know, it was all my friends were in uni, and I was bored. And I was like, why aren't I doing this? Like, they're doing what they want to do. Why don't I do that? And I did. And then it just never looked back then.
Good. Yeah, man. It's can't argue. I think that might be the youngest anybody's ever said that they started watching wrestling. So, you know, I'll put you at the top of the league.
Oh, my dad's lying to me, one of them, but I remember seeing it. But yeah.
No, I believe you. I can imagine it.
Apparently.
Well, it's not just that, but obviously even at that age, yeah, you know, it's because that's the thing, man. Wrestling is amazing. It's, you know, it's the noise, it's the lights, it's the, you know, the fast movement. Dude, for any age, that's just going to be like, yes. And then going from there. But that Shawn Michaels Taker match, like sort of said, I think, you know, even if you're just a fan or a casual fan, you know, that's the kind of match that would make a casual fan a diehard fan. You know, that would make a diehard fan, like in your case, you know, be like, okay, no, yeah, I want to do this. You know, I want that moment kind of thing.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And to go back to when I was younger as well, with the earliest memory, it's weird to me because I mean, I'll have it on the TV now. My niece will come in and she's 3 and she doesn't even look at the TV. So I just think, you see kids get drawn in by things like Peppa Pig, Scooby-Doo, like the things from back then, the things from now. You see people get drawn in, and I just sit and think, well, what about it drew me in at such a young age when I didn't even understand what it was? And I feel like if there's ever a time to believe everything happens for a reason, that's got to be it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's got to be. So yeah, but that match with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, like, it was enough for me. Changed something, I don't know what, but that match, it was just like, I watch it back now and I enjoy it now as much as I did the first night I saw it. So
yeah, certain matches, like I say, yeah, timeless kind of thing. I mean, I can speak from, you know, I've got my youngest is 6. You know, I'm trying to get to watch wrestling. He's not interested. I've taken him to a few shows. Yeah, he's interested when it's in person. You know, when he's there. He's loved the few shows I've taken him to. I put it on TV. Nah, not interested, mate. Give me my Switch. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So, yeah, it's not for everyone. I know. I don't know. I just think I've gone wrong somewhere because you don't watch wrestling and you don't watch Spider-Man cartoons. So I'm kind of disgruntled.
I mean, I can't blame you for trying though. I've done it with my nephew and that works. My oldest nephew is 16 now and he's like a mini me. So he had his first training session a few weeks ago as well. So I'm winning with that one.
Oh, cool. Well, so is he following you at the house, or is he gone somewhere else?
He came to a house for paying open day, and I started training there. but he's like couldn't look any different than me, but acts exactly like me. So I'm not sorry for whatever people might be dealing with in about 3-4 years' time.
Dude, that's awesome. It must be cool for him as well, though, man. Because that's the thing. I mean, that's what, obviously you guys do what you do. Then yeah, if you've got like your nephews or nieces or little brothers and stuff, who love wrestling, and you guys must be the coolest. They look up to you and it'd just be like, yes, I want to be just like you.
Yeah, it is cute because he's like I say, he's been like obviously I've got a brother and then he's my sister's kid as well. So, but he's always had this bond with me from because I was around 12 when he was born. And then since then, he grew up around me. He started playing on like the games and like the PS4 and things like that. And he's just loved it and loved it and loved it to the point where he said he wanted to do it. And I'm just like, okay. So I took him. And honestly, I know you do very minimal, but we was doing like little things like, just learning to bump once. And he nailed it every time. And I was like, is this not one of them things where it happens for a reason? Because if this is my nephew and this is how he's doing it now, like it's going to be the opposite way around. Like, it's going to be me, the one that's like proud, because I'm going to be like, yeah, it's my nephew. But yeah, we'll see. It's nice to see that it's a bonding thing, if anything.
Exactly, that's it. I mean, and again, I mentioned it earlier at the start of the show, like with the charity shows and, wrestling communities, coming together. It's just, no matter who you are, whether, family or friends, whatever, if you've got a love for wrestling, that's that automatic bond. You can always. That's why I was like, when people talk about, when they go to wrestling schools, even if they go there by themselves, you never feel like a stranger for long because you're in a room full of people with the same interest as you. You've always got something to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with him. Like, it's at home, I talk about it with my brother and my nephew, and then obviously I go to wrestling and everyone talks about it. So I can never escape it. I'm not complaining. But
so besides unifying the two Pride titles as of when it gets created, not to jinx it, we're gonna just put it out into the universe. We're gonna get the momentum going, get the stars aligned, ready for as of when it's a possibility. Yeah, man, what's the rest of the year holding for Mr. Bolt? You got anything lined up? You got a list of things you want to tick off?
So I do have, it's frustrating me, the fact that I have some things coming up later this year that I can't say anything about, and it infuriates me because I'm one of them people where I want to tell people, but I can't. So for now, I can't say what them things are, but in terms of smaller goals, it is, the places like TNT, Progress, things like that. I just want to be at them places regularly, like all the time. Like, I want to be one of them people that people look at as like one of the best, or if not on the way to being one of the best in the UK. Other than that, it's other small goals as well. Like, I've always, since I started wrestling, been in good shape, but I want to be in like the best shape. So like for this year, like I love being the size I'm being able to do the things I do, but I also want to be marketable for them bigger companies as well, which means I want to get bigger. I want to get faster. I want to get stronger, all them things. And then just see where the Adam Bolt progression takes me as well, like where that's going to go. So there's always, goals with promotions and stuff like that. But the end goal is to be one of the best, whether that lands me in America, anywhere, to be fair. But this year, it's just to keep the momentum going, I think, and get as many places as regular as I can.
Dude, yeah, mate, that makes perfect sense. You keep the momentum going. That's the key thing. As long as the momentum's going, there's no looking back. It's just going to get better and better and better. And it's just, just never stop. Don't ever get what I'm trying to think of. Don't ever settle. Don't just get sort of, lazy with it. Just keep striving for the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to lie, these last 2 weeks I've had a bit of a break, but that's because it's needed. Stuff just outside of wrestling going off, and I've just thought, you know what, I've always focused, and I'm always like, because it's hard things, people don't see it. People see you on a weekend at wrestling. I can't speak for everyone else, but this is what I'm like. So fans see you at weekend on a wrestling and just assume Monday to Friday you go and do your other job or whatever. For me, it's not. It is constant. I go to the gym every night. It's for wrestling. I'm sat there. I'm thinking all the time about stuff like what I can do to elevate myself. I'm keeping my socials up to date. And then even recently now I've started learning to make my own gear. Like I made my first own set of gear yesterday because I want to be able to do all this stuff on my own, like because I know image is a part of it as well. So there's all these things that come into it, and people think that, you know, it's just about getting in the ring on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. It is not. Like though it's just my mind is constant, like go, go, go. And even if it's switched off for a second, I'm thinking like, you know, it's not long before I'm looking at what I'm going to post next on Instagram. Like it's insane. It is really insane. But yeah, this last week I've just had a break to just like, I mean, this like apart from talking to you, I've not posted on socials just for a week because I realised that I need to look after myself so I can be the best out of the box. If I don't look after me, it's like I can't keep. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm happy wrestling and stuff, but I need to make sure I'm happy when I come home as well. And for the last couple of weeks, it's just been a bit of a ugh. So yeah, but I feel better already. It's been like one weekend off, and I'm like ready to go already. So it was the right thing.
But, yeah, I mean, obviously it sounds daft doing what I do and, you know, stuff like that. But you need like a digital detox sometimes. You need to just, you know, it sounds cliched, man, but your health is your wealth. You know, it's pointless being a success of something if, you know, in a year's time you burn yourself out and you just can't do it anymore. You know, it's like, what's the point? You know, find that balance, you know, where you can be the best you outside and inside of the ring kind of thing. So
yeah. So
you do the right thing, dude. Just look after you, and then everything else will, you know, fall into place. Plus, dude, you know, you'll save money on ring gear now.
Yeah, I mean, I was saving money anyway because there's somebody. So my other half, Nana, was making it for me. But because she used to work in a sewing shop, she wasn't charging the prices of what people do in British wrestling, and also giving me a 90-month waiting period either. No shade, but so it was like I would go to a fabric shop, find what I like, which is even better, give it to her, and she'd just take 2 weeks and she'd give me it. Whereas now I just thought, do you know what? If I can do this myself, and don't get me wrong, I had no clue. And I'm like, do I look like somebody who's going to sit and sew? No, I don't. Like, I have not a clue. But I bought one. Thought, how hard can it be? It went wrong for a while. It took a couple of hours, but I've got there. And I tried these shorts on that I made, and I was like, they fit. It's like, this is weird. But yeah, so yeah, even that, like now, it's just like, now I can do that as well, which is good. I ever have a big show coming up, like, I can get some new gear out. So you'll probably not see me in the same gear more than once now.
Dude, that's I mean, but it's just, you know, it's like you're saying about, you know, BT Gun before. You know, it's the little things that people might not mention or might not pick up on or notice. But even just, you know, like changing your ring gear frequently, you know, subconsciously the fans are just going to, you know, will pick up on it and be like, you know, it just makes you look more professional because, you know, how often do you see the guys on TV wearing the same ring gear?
So this is the mindset I always have. I'm like, if you strive to be where they are, look at what they're doing that got them there, or look at what they're doing now that makes them on that level. It's not just the contract they've got. It's everything. It's like public image, it's socials, it's look. So it's like, you've got to just keep going. Like you've got to, like, because at the end of the day, if people are looking at who they're interested in, who's marketable, they want to know you're coachable. They want to know you've got an image about you, character, you can work. It's like everything. So I'm just like, if I can nail that and throw it at people on socials as well, it just makes it more visible. So yeah, you're right in what you're saying. Like it is very much a bit of everything. It's hard work, don't get me wrong, but it's nothing compared to where I hope to be. So I can't complain at the minute.
That's it. It's like I said though, yeah, it's hard work, but you know, don't make it too hard work. It's like, if it, make sure it's hard work but fun to keep. You know, as long as it's still fun, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've took the week off. I think just so it doesn't feel like a chore. It's like I enjoy doing it. It is what I love at the end of the day. So
nice. I've been asked to ask a question. I've got to ask it because it's by the Fast Account guys and they sponsor the show. I got asked to ask. They're Doncaster boys, so they asked me to ask, you know, what was it like growing up in Rosington?
Ooh, no, it went that bad. Do you know what? Right, it's weird because people, if you're from around here, right, there is this ongoing debate about what's worse out of Sheffield, Rotherham, Barnsley, Doncaster. Doncaster is not the worst one. It's really not. And growing up in like Rosington, it's weird because it's like a village very south of Doncaster, I feel like the next village down is classed as like Nottinghamshire. I think it starts going into. So it's like it's like one of the biggest villages in Europe. I think it was at one point. I could be lying to you. I don't know. That might not be true, but I got told it was. So I'm just gonna roll with it. But yeah, like it's. I lived with. I grew up with like my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister. Like your average family. And I had a really like average, normal upbringing. To be fair, so like I've always lived in the same village though. Like can't fault it. But yeah, I am a bit of a. You can tell when like because people think I'm a bit chavvy, you know. I'm not. But when I talk, people hear it and they think I am, and I think that's the Donny in me coming out because it's got a bit of a reputation with that. So
subconsciously chav-like location. I know, but it sounds awesome. I've never got a chav vibe from you, so I don't know if that's just paranoid. But
Adam Bolt is literally Prince Charming with a little bit of hood. That's what he is. Like Prince Charming with a little bit of street. That's all it is.
So you can be street without being chav, man. I didn't want to sort of downplay this. I think being street's cool. You know, I look at like Step Up films. They're street.
Oh, let's go with street.
I don't look at 2 pints and think street.
Let's forget the chav. Let's go with street.
Street. There we go. Yeah, I can see you like in a Step Up as opposed to a 2 pints of lager kind of thing. So
yeah,
put it that one.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I had to ask that question. There you go. Last thing I'm going to pick your brain on is we've mentioned it a few times. You know, like the character. So I have this conversation with loads of people. Just the importance of developing the character. And I think it's over the last couple of years. It's come back tenfold. There was a period where there wasn't many characters. It was just people being themselves. They didn't really have any characteristics. They were just doing awesome moves and having awesome matches. They didn't really stand out, kind of thing. Not to besmirch anyone, but it seems to be like everywhere you look now, like 87% of the talent, people are becoming characters again, and I think that's awesome because it gives you a focus. It gives you something to work with. It gives you a direction. It gives you, as you sort of said before, man, your ideas. Your brain's always on. You're looking at stuff. You're thinking, right, I could do this. I could do that. It just gives you a purpose and an idea of a creative direction.
Yeah, exactly. I think you've got to. I think these ways it's like a role reversal now. It's like I honestly feel like some people do characters very well. They can be the complete opposite of what they do in a ring and on a show. But for me, the best advice I got was find something about yourself and turn it up to 100. So like everything you see in Adam Bolt, like the wanting to look good all the time, the way he dresses or like comes across, that is me. It's just I turn it up to an extreme amount in front of a crowd. So it's kind of like it's the best thing because in reality, I just feel like I'm being myself, but at the same time, there's that character there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a bit of both. But yeah, I've always had an eye for that because like when I was first getting out places and stuff, I was like, right, okay, people keep putting me in this box as like this flippy high flying wrestler. And I'm like, it infuriates me because I'm like, do you know what? No credit, no disrespect to people that do label themselves as that. But it's like, if I'm going to go out there and do flips, right? If I'm just going to go out there and try and get my athleticism over and nothing else at all, just that, it's like, you have people like Leon Slater, Robbie X, Joe Lando, Danny Black. There's so many people that are talented and athletic. It's like, unless I've got something about me that makes me me, I'm not going to stand out. So that's where it came from. And it's like I love watching that sort of wrestling I do, but I feel like if it can be done with some character there as well, like what's not to love? And the character stuff, yeah. And it also, like, I had a match at Phenomenal Elite Wrestling the other week against Oscar Prospero, one of the up-and-comers at House of Pain. He does his Shakespeare character, and his character vibing with mine was, like, near perfection. Like, it was so fun. And that shows on YouTube as well, like, if you can watch it, because, honestly, it was one of my most fun matches I've had, like, just purely because of the character. So, yeah, it is really important.
No, I definitely did. Yeah, like I said, it just gives because some of the people mention this stuff. Yeah, amazing matches, and the matches could be 5 stars, but I'm not emotionally invested because sometimes there's no character there. It's the character, it's the story that pulls me in, that gets me on the edge of the seat, that makes me want to see you get hit in your face. You'll get a pop. Without a character, you've got to work hard to get a reaction sometimes. But if you've got a good character, you're a gnarly heel. All you got to do is get punched in the face, mate. And I'm popping. I'm like, yes.
I get punched at wrestling. I get poked at wrestling Newcastle, and they come up, and it's like it goes back to my favorite match as well, the Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. If you take the characters away, that match is great. The wrestling, the legacy's there, it's amazing. But what makes it better is that you know who Shawn Michaels is, you know who Undertaker is. They're so different, which the characters and the little things they can do, like, you know, even down to the entrance, one comes down from heaven, one comes up from hell. It's like straight away, it's like sold. And it's like the character, it just shows you how important it is to get like the emotion out of it. And that's what one of the main things in wrestling is, like to feel something, right? So the characters are.
It was Shawn Michaels coming out all in white to counteract Taker's, you know, all in black kind of thing, and it was just
done to perfection. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Literally from that entrance, she was hooked. You know, the emotion was there. I'm just going to quickly mention this because we were talking about ring gear earlier. I don't know if you ever noticed. I didn't realize until somebody pointed it out to me, but talking about guys on the big stage, you know, doing what they do kind of thing. Seth Rollins, his ring gear always means something, and I love that. You know, until somebody pointed it out to me, it was just sometimes it can be so small, or sometimes it's so freaking obvious. But yeah, when you go back, I've actually looked at, you know, like different outfits from different matches, and it's like, oh, that's freaking clever. That is okay. Yeah, you know,
I aim to be like that one day. Like so clever, so clever. It's I didn't even notice these things. I just thought he would just basically go in a wardrobe, shutting his eyes and pulling whatever out he could. Like that's what I thought he was doing. It was just like one day something changed and people just started throwing these clothes at him, and you're like, yeah, I love that. But then when you start looking and like you catch like, oh, okay, like there's always something there, and it's like you say, you can be small as well. So it's like, I wish I was that clever.
In fact, you know, he's probably got people telling him as well. You know, I'm not going to give him the full credit for it, kind of thing. You know, well, he's got a team, dude. At some point, you'll have your team, and they'll be imparting you with words of wisdom, and then you can be rocking out with very subtle, clever ring gear as well.
Oh yeah, do you know what? By that point, I'll be fed up with making my own. I'll be telling them to do it. Like, yeah, I'll still choose what I want, but get this made, please.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've just noticed we've kind of clocked to the hour mark. So I'd only keep you for an hour. So yeah, you know, all I can say is basically to summarize is, you know, keep doing what you're doing, mate. You got the momentum behind you tenfold, you know. So yeah, enjoy it, have fun, but yeah, keep smashing it, dude.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I shall try. That's the aim anyway. Just keep it going. Whether it speeds up, I mean, if it speeds up, that's great. But as long as we don't regress, we're winning. So yeah, thank you.
Shout out your medias, dude. Where can, you know, as of when you're back on them, and you know you want to start plugging, you know, doing your stuff, where can people find Adam Bolt on the socials?
So on Instagram, just Adam Bolt Wrestling. Twitter, it's Adam Bolt _. I am on TikTok as well. You know, I don't really do much on it, but Adam Bolt Wrestling there as well. It's just me dancing in my entrance a lot of the time, but yeah, I'm on there as well. Facebook.
That's what TikTok is.
But I don't really update the Facebook page much because that'd send me into overdrive with how much Instagram and Twitter takes up. So
no, done. Also, obviously, I'll be tagging you in stuff anyway when I upload this episode. So obviously, if you follow us on Twitter, and you notice Mr. Bolt mentioned in a tweet or an X or a post, whatever the hell you want to call it, obviously give him a follow if you're not following. I'd like to think you all follow him in already anyway, but if you're not, give the dude a follow. But yeah, generic sign off, generic farewell. Thank you for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, share, comment, do all the stuff you normally do after watching a video on YouTube. Thank you to Fast Count for sponsoring this show. I keep forgetting to do that, so I'm going to have to get myself into the habit of saying that at the end of the episode. But yeah, you know, it's been awesome, dude. Thank you for talking to us.
No, thank you for having me.
Been an absolute pleasure, mate. So yeah, obviously keep your eyes peeled. Lots of awesome new guests coming up very soon. And yeah, we're talking comic books next week as well, so keep your eyes on that one. So we will see you all very soon. Goodbye.